This is GADO News.
Bioequivalence is one of my own research focus when I was in the US. At the beginning of this era where generics started coming to the market, as a pharmacist, I was also hesitant to use generic products. That was in the US because this is called the Hatch-Waxman bill. In the US, they name a bill after the law, the legislator that led it. And it was after we got to the US that this happened. So I can track, the genesis of it. I was also reticent about it, but later I warmed up because I'm doing research on it. The innovator products are very costly. Generic products can perform the same way if all the I's are dotted and the T's crossed. That is because this is part of quality. It's a quality attribute. It's a safety. It's an efficacy attribute also. But later, as I'm using a medicine now that is generic, and it works. So it is not like generic products are not good, but it has to be well regulated and controlled. It gets cheaper with volume, but there are different grades of active ingredients. You have the pharmaceutical grade, you have the research grade, you have whatever grade, depending on the use. And the grade is dependent on the impurities in it. Because when you are synthesizing an active pharmaceutical ingredient, you are working on a chemical entity, new chemical entity. When it becomes an active pharmaceutical ingredient is when all the jingles have been taken care of, the quality has been assured. In fact, there is another grade that is called for clinical studies, meaning that is what you're going to use when you are now producing for consumption. So there are different grades of active ingredient. So it is not just the process, it is not the reactivity of the active with non-active, it is the active itself. What type of active? If there are impurities in it and it can easily degrade, even if you put 100% in it, it's already degrading before the expiration. And the bioequivalence will be different, or it will not be bioequivalent. Aside from the impurities that may harm the kidney or the liver, because that's, many of these impurities are very weird in terms of the way they work, So bioequivalence is extremely important. Our manufacturers, and I will give the example of the only one that got pre-qualification. They have to go out to test it. Go to India, go to Jordan, go to wherever country where they have that bioequivalence facility to test. Nigeria is going to have bioequivalence centers, because to go to another country to test, the rigor of going, the cost, will become minimized relative to what we're going to get in Nigeria. So this is part of building strength into our own regulatory system and public confidence. We have to build the level, build the confidence level of the public. If we don't have generics, many people will have died. In the US, the health system is very strong. You go through the Medicare when you are older, and it is tied to drug prices. So the government or US FDA places a lot of attention on where they get their products. That is why you now have FDA offices in India, in China, so that they don't have to travel to the place. They are already there to go and inspect, announced, unannounced inspection. So that is part, and also we are working, with many of our colleagues, on different areas of collaboration, including bioequivalence inspection. The inspection is huge. You've got to make sure that where that testing is being done is certified, and we're going to do the certification because we're going to do, Nafdac is going to do the approval protocol, NREC, National Ethics Research Committee, that is just formed or reconstituted by the coordinating ministers in the Ministry of Health. We do the ethics approval of all clinical trials. The bioequivalence is a little different, but for bioequivalence, we will do the clinical protocol approval and site inspection. We're going to give license. So it is not just somebody coming from somewhere and say, I want to do. Show me what you have. Have you had any experience in doing bioequivalence? Because data can also be easily cooked. And we're going to do a lot of, we are already putting things in place to make sure that whatever comes through Nafdac data are quite certified, outside the country at the beginning, just to be sure that everybody is doing well.
GADO News.